What's going on, everybody? I got a couple videos I need to get done. Um, One is just some recent pickups, mail days, stuff like that, and the other is I wanted to do a video for to answer the questions Michael Sevens had posted up. I've watched a lot of videos from a bunch of tubers that have posted, and it's been really fun just getting a chance to watch those videos and uh, learning about some of the people on here, and it's it's really awesome just the fact that everybody's shared so much, and you feel like there's so much more that you learn about people with the questions that were posted up. Um, so I'll go ahead and get started. And I know it's been a while since Michael posted the video. It's not a contest or anything, but I did want to definitely share my answers. It's just been, in all honesty, it's been difficult because I've tried to do this video a few times, and just kind of going over some of the questions kind of made me think and just start really thinking about just things in the past, growing up, things like that. So I'll go ahead and get started. Michael, again, thank you so much for what you do for the community and everything. You know, the cards is great, and everybody always shares that, and that's definitely a key part to this whole thing, is that we share this awesome hobby. But it's so much more awesome with, you know, true involvement with each other and making real friendships and things like that, and it makes it 100 times better than just being about the cards. And these questions, along with so many times the participation that you uh, ask for, that you get from videos that you post, and answers and stuff, it just helps, makes this a lot more enjoyable. So I definitely want to thank you for that. So I'll go ahead and get started here just with my answers. First question was, if there's a deceased person you could have lunch or dinner with, who would it be? Um, that's gonna have to be. It's gonna be. I would say it's gonna be equal between both of my grandparents on my mom's side. Um, my grandfather passed away when I was a senior in high school, and so I definitely got to enjoy my childhood, having him in my life. And then my grandmother, a few years after I graduated, I moved here to Austin, um, and she passed shortly after I moved here, so I was already away from home. Uh, so that was definitely a difficult time not being there anymore when she got sick and everything. But I would really like to, if I had the chance, to have lunch or dinner with them, um, just to kind of catch up and let them know, that things turned out all right. So that would be my answer for that question. As far as a living person to have lunch or dinner with, that's kind of difficult. I've watched so many other videos of people's answers, and definitely I would like to get it. If I had the chance, I would like to meet a lot of the tubers on here and actually have a chance to not even just have lunch or dinner with them, but just hang out, get a beer or something. But as far as anybody alive, I mean, I don't know. I would have to say, just with being a Longhorn fan, the I think it would be really awesome to have a chance to have lunch with Earl Campbell and just kind of get a feel for what drove him to have the career that he had. He came from a time in football, in my opinion, when players played with a lot of pride, and it was like a job should be, which is, that's your name, so you got to play with pride. Just like every day, you go to work, whatever work you're doing, it doesn't matter. That's your name. That's what you're, that's what you're doing. That's what your whole, uh, I don't know, not so much your purpose should be, but you should have pride in what you do. And I think back in the day, football players, there was a lot of that. It was like, it wasn't a lot of complaining. It wasn't a lot of money issues. There wasn't a lot of, oh, I'm hurt, I'm not going to play this week. These guys played when it was just crazy. You watch some of the old NFL films or even read up on some of the players, and just to hear what they played through and stuff is just crazy compared to nowadays. Somebody's got turf toe 14 out of 17 weeks. It's just crazy. But I would really like to have a chance, especially he's so battered down, and his health is so bad now. I've had a chance over the years to see him because he lives here in Austin as well. So on game days when we go down to the stadium or to the co-op, he's always somewhere around, but he walks with a walker. He can barely get around. This was a guy who just ran over people like it was nothing. So I just would like to get a chance to talk to him and see what his take is on what he did and where he's at now, and just if he really feels that it was all worth it, and what his opinion is on the game and the way it is today. But I just think that would be really awesome, just to get a chance to sit down and talk to him. The third question was, if I could bring back any YouTuber who's not on anymore, who would it be? I watched Josh Tuyer's video, and mine would have to be the same answer. There's so many people that you don't really see too much of anymore. Danielle, DRB, she hasn't been on for a while. These are people I would think are coming back because they never really said they were leaving altogether. Cammy, she also didn't ever say she was leaving altogether, so I have hopes that both of them will come back at some point and kind of pick back up on the hobby when they can. But the one that hasn't been on and clearly stated that he was leaving the community was Chris, which is Summit Storm. He also went by Laser. He's a really nice guy. When I first got on here, he was one of the few, one of the people at the beginning that was really welcoming, and he also did a lot of stuff for the community that I could see. He would do breaks and put people in the breaks with their teams and just send out the cards. He was always hooking people up. He had a really nice collection. I mean, just a really nice guy overall. And like I said, he was real welcoming when I got started. And I think when you first start out, if you don't have the right people, not necessarily subscribe to you, but if you're not subscribed to the right people as well, it can be difficult to hang around and continue to participate. If you have a bad experience right off the bat, it's something that you're not going to want to pursue. But I was lucky enough to meet Chris on here, as well as like Ryan, Dominus Infinitus, Mike, Gronk fan. So many really, really good tubers that kind of laid out the whole foundation for my experience here. And so, but I think it would be awesome if Chris would come back. It's just a really nice guy and real positive person for the community. So I definitely miss him being on here. The fourth question was, who was your biggest influence in life growing up? And that would be my mom and my grandparents. I didn't have a dad growing up, so my mom remarried when I was 7, or not remarried. She got married when I was 7, and when she got married, it was kind of difficult. It was just weird going from being just me and my mom in the house to having somebody else that I really didn't know, and shortly, just over a few months, there was never really anything bad. I have nothing bad to say about my stepfather at all, but it's just I don't know. It just wasn't comfortable anymore. And my mom, I was lucky enough that she didn't want me stressed out. She didn't want me to be uncomfortable or anything. And my grandparents always lived in town as well. My grandparents which were my mom's parents, were split since before I was born, but they were always around. So I ended up living with my grandmother, and I would, my grandfather would be the one to take me back and forth to school, and kind of just raised me, was that father figure for me. So it was that was a big influence. My grandmother was older. She was real wise. It was always like everything she did was well thought out. She was just somebody who I really, now I think that's the thing, is I was talking to my mom the other day, and I was telling her that a lot of stuff that I learned from my grandparents and my mom kind of didn't kick in until later. I was not a bad kid, but I wasn't the best of kids. I definitely caused my share of headaches and stress for my mom and my grandparents, but just everything that they did try to teach me, I ended up listening to. It just took me a while to realize how important those things were. Uh, a lot of the things that I value in people, I think is like old school, if you will, because it's what I was raised with. Like my grandfather was real adamant on, when you shake somebody's hand, it has to be a good handshake. When somebody's talking to you, you make sure and look at them. Just basic things that are lost so much of the time nowadays. You talk to younger kids. I have nephews and nieces and cousins that are younger, and it's just crazy how much time has changed, as far as just the way, just basic ways of thinking are from the young people today, and the way I think our parents and grandparents were raised and raised their kids. But I got a lot of that, and so I got really lucky, like I said, and it's stuff that has paid off now that I understand, and I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that I had that opportunity. But they were all just so influential in my life growing up, and helping try to keep me on the right track and making sure that I was making the right decisions and things like that. And so I wouldn't be where I am now without them having been involved in my life. So I'll always have that gratitude for them, and so yeah, so that's who I would say my influence growing up was. Um, as far as who's my biggest influence now in my life, it's kind of tough because a lot of people have mentioned there's not really, you know as an adult, I think it's difficult to find one person as a true influence. And when you're growing up, if you have a older brother or something, you can kind of find that relationship there where that's an influence on you. But as an adult, that influence it's not the same. Me personally, I think my influences are my family, definitely my wife, and people in general. And growing up, just a quick story. I know I'm already at 12 minutes, but I had got into some trouble in ninth grade, and ended up having to attend an alternative school for about a month. And the teacher that I met there was probably changed a lot of my life. She was just changed my outlook on life, because the message she had for me was that I needed to take what I had already done, all the bad things, all the good things, and just try to learn from everything, and always just try to learn from experiences in life, if they were good experiences, bad experiences, whatever it may be. And she was real big on the people that you have contact with from day to day. They influence and they affect your life some way or another, even if it's just something small. And so I try to just keep that thought as life goes on, and I try to stay positive, with everything. I know that we try to push positivity a lot here in the community, but in my life, positivity and trying to stay positive and pushing that positivity is a big thing for me as well. Because it is easy. It's very easy to be negative and to think about some of the bad things that some of us have experienced over our lives, and dwell on that and get stuck on it. But you got to try to fight it, and you got to try to stay positive and just keep going, and keep trying to better yourself, better your life. For those of you that have kids, better the life for your children. That's always the goal, I think, as a parent, is you want your children's lives to be better than yours, and that's I think that's always important. But yeah, I mean, I draw influence from lots of things. The video Michael posted, with a gentleman that had been a paratrooper, I think it was, and he had been told at one point that he wouldn't be able to walk on his own, and he ended up overcoming all of that. And watching stuff like that is very influential. There's a lot of stuff, if you go and look on YouTube, videos of people that have done things like that, and not just that, even just in your everyday life. If you know somebody that's overcome something, or even there's some tubers on here now that they've gone through really difficult times, or health issues, severe health issues, and they remain positive and they keep going. And that all influences me. It makes a big difference to me, because I wake up in the morning, and I try to wake up, and right off the bat, get my day going as positive as possible. But when I run into slumps during the day or during the week, or if I had a bad day at work, all you really got to do is kind of look around you and see, what other people have gone through and come out of, or what other people are going through, and realize that you're not even anywhere near in that bad of a situation. And I think that can impact you, every day. So yeah, I've rambled on enough, and so Michael, thanks a bunch. I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate you watching. Um, I hope everybody's having a good weekend. And I do have, like I said, another video coming up here with some stuff that I've picked up and some packages I've got in over the past few days. So thanks a bunch, y'all. We'll talk to y'all soon. Hook 'em.